The medical bay of the Celestial Harmony hummed with the sterile efficiency that characterized most Galactic Council vessels. Dr. Vexthor, a four-armed Qualian physician with iridescent blue skin, hovered over the examination table where the human lay unconscious. Her breathing was shallow, her pale skin marred by a constellation of bruises and lacerations. Fragile species, Vexthor muttered, his secondary arms recording data while his primary ones worked the medical scanner. How did the Council ever approve them for deep space exploration? His assistant, a young Centaurian named Kel, adjusted the atmospheric controls. Their psychological profiles were impressive, Doctor. High adaptability scores, exceptional problem-solving under pressure. Psychology means nothing if the body cannot survive, Vexthor replied, studying the readouts. Look at this. Their bones lack the carbon silicate reinforcement that even the weakest Qualian possesses. Their skin tears easier than Valerian tissue paper, and their immune systems. He paused, mandibles clicking in what passed for a sigh among his people. The human, designation Lieutenant Sarah Chen, had been found floating in an escape pod 37 hours ago, the sole survivor of a research station that had gone dark in the Kepler expanse. The station's other 12 crew members, representing 7 different species, were all confirmed dead. Run the standard triage scan, Vexthor instructed. Let's see what killed the others. The scanner hummed, projecting a 3-dimensional model of Chen's body above the table. Vexthor's eyes widened as the damage assessment populated. Impossible, he whispered. Kel leaned closer. Doctor, these injuries, they're catastrophic. Punctured lung, fractured ribs, severe contusions to internal organs, and he zoomed in on her right shoulder. By the ancestors. The wound was deep, showing clear indentation marks in a curved pattern. Bite marks. Run it through the xenobiological database, Vexthor ordered, his voice tight. I want to know what made this. Kel's fingers danced across the holographic interface. Seconds passed. Then minutes. The AI cycled through millions of documented species, cross-referencing tooth patterns, jaw structures, and bite force calculations. No match, Kel finally said, confusion evident in his tone. Doctor, the database contains records of every known predator in Council space. This pattern doesn't correspond to anything. Vexthor felt a chill run through his circulatory system. Pull up the station's security footage. Everything from the last 48 hours before communications ceased. The holographic display shifted, showing the research station's corridors. For hours, nothing seemed amiss. Scientists moved about their duties, analyzing samples from the planet below, a world designated as potentially habitable, but requiring further study. Then at timestamp 1437, alarms began flashing red. A creature burst through the lower deck airlock, something that shouldn't have been possible. It was massive, easily 3 meters tall with chitinous armor plates and multiple sets of razor-sharp mandibles. Its classification was immediately clear. An apex predator from the planet's deep jungle regions, somehow smuggled aboard or accidentally transported. The security feed showed the carnage that followed. The creature moved through the station with terrifying efficiency. Vexthor watched as a Qualian security officer, armored and armed, lasted mere seconds before being torn apart. A Centaurian engineer, known for their enhanced reflexes, was caught mid-flight and crushed. Then Chen appeared on the screen. She was in the botanical lab when the creature smashed through the door. Unlike the others, she didn't freeze. She didn't try to reason with it or analyze it. She grabbed the nearest object, a titanium sample case, and threw it directly at the creature's sensory cluster. The throw was perfect, stunning the beast for precious seconds. Chen ran, but not away. She ran toward the emergency locker, grabbing a plasma cutter used for hull repairs. When the creature recovered and charged, she didn't retreat into a corner like prey. She moved forward under its strike and drove the plasma cutter deep into the softer tissue beneath its armor plates. The creature shrieked and grabbed her, its mandibles closing on her shoulder, the wound Vexthor had just examined. But Chen didn't scream. She didn't let go of the plasma cutter. She twisted it deeper, holding on even as the creature thrashed, even as her own bones cracked under the pressure. Then she did something that made Vexthor's blood run cold. She bit back. Her jaw clamped onto one of the creature's sensory stalks, her blunt human teeth tearing through the sensitive tissue. The creature released her in shock. No prey had ever fought back like this. And in that moment of hesitation, Chen activated the lab's emergency containment protocol. Reinforced doors slammed down, trapping the creature in one section while Chen stumbled into another, bleeding and broken. The footage showed her crawling to the escape pod, manually overriding its launch sequence even as she lost consciousness. The medical bay was silent when the recording ended. "She bit it," Kel whispered. "With those tiny, flat teeth. She bit an armored predator." Vexthor looked down at Lieutenant Chen with new understanding. The Galactic Council had classified humans as fragile because they lacked natural weapons, armor, or enhanced healing. They had overlooked what made humans truly dangerous: their absolute refusal to accept defeat. "The bite pattern doesn't match our database," Vexthor said slowly, "because we've never cataloged a species that fights back when they're prey. Every other species either has natural defenses or they flee. Humans—" He paused, searching for the right words. "Humans choose violence even when their body tells them they should die." Chen stirred on the table, her eyes flickering open. They locked onto Vexthor with an intensity that made him step back instinctively. "The others?" She croaked, her voice raw. "I'm sorry, Lieutenant. You were the only survivor." Something passed across her face. Grief, rage, determination, all compressed into a single moment. "The creature? Starved to death in the sealed lab section. Your containment protocol held." Chen nodded once, then closed her eyes. But Vexthor noticed her hands, clenched into fists despite her injuries, knuckles white with tension even in her weakened state. "Kel," Vexthor said quietly, "make a note in her file. Humans are not fragile. They are persistence predators that forgot they evolved past needing to be. And if anything threatens them or their pack—" He glanced at the bite pattern analysis still hovering in the holo display. "They remember." The assistant nodded, updating the medical records while Vexthor began the healing process. Above them, the Celestial Harmony jumped to FTL, carrying Lieutenant Sarah Chen back to human space, where her report would fundamentally change how the Galactic Council viewed humanity. They had called her species fragile. They would never make that mistake again,